Well, I've been tired of this active weather that's been happening for the past couple of weeks, and I think a lot of people will agree with me, but I will now be the preacher of great news as we have finally calm weather ahead in the forecast. Right now, here are the headlines. Calm weather settling in, a great weekend for any outdoor plans as we'll have temperatures fall below average. We'll also have low humidity. That's going to bring low feels like temperatures. So you won't have air you can wear type of weather where it's extremely humid outside. You walk outside and you'll immediately sweat. We're not going to have that at all for this upcoming weekend as we'll have gorgeous weather ahead. Here's a look at the future view. So once the line of storms that we're going to experience Friday afternoon, once that kicks out down towards the southeast, Friday night should be absolutely beautiful with mostly clear conditions. We'll get into Saturday morning and we're actually not showing a single cloud out there, starting off the day with clear skies and sunny conditions. And that's going to be the name of the game for the rest of the morning and for the rest of the afternoon as well. So if you have any outdoor plans, any cookouts, any picnics with your family, should be a great time to spend a great Saturday afternoon. We get into Saturday evening, just a couple of clouds, but I don't think that will deter any of the plans. I think it will be a beautiful day no matter what for Saturday. We get into Sunday morning, so around 6 o'clock. Beautiful stuff. You can see the clear skies continue. And this will also be the name of the game once we get into 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning for church. I don't think you will have to experience any weather, so it'll be a great time to go out and spend with your family. We get into midday. That's when the clouds will start to stream on in. And we have a relatively low rain chance for 4 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon as a boundary starts to come down towards the south from North Georgia, but it completely breaks apart. So we'll be left with, okay. Okay. Well, I know a lot of people here in Central Georgia are tired of the active weather that we've been experiencing for the past couple of days and weeks, myself included, but I can finally say that I'll be the preacher of good news as we're expecting calm and gorgeous weather for this upcoming weekend and mainly dry conditions for next week. Here's a look at the headlines. Calm weather finally settles in. It's been a long time since I finally said this, so I'm so excited to preach the great news as we're going to have a great weekend for any outdoor plans. So this includes the Makin' Bacon home opener game and any outdoor plans such as the pool or any picnics. And the reason why we're going to have great conditions for the weekend is because temperatures are going to drop below average. And another thing that's going to drop is the humidity. Humidity has been relatively muggy all throughout the week, but we're not going to have to worry about the high humidity. It's going to feel like a spring-like day, even though meteorological summer starts on Sunday. So we're going to have low humidity. That's going to limit our feels-like temperatures, our heat index values, making the day a lot more comfortable for Saturday and for Sunday. Let's time everything out. So here's the line of thunderstorms that will produce robust weather for Friday afternoon and evening. Once we get into 8 to 9 o'clock at night, it should be a beautiful night for any people having any date plans, or if you want to just check out the stars for a Friday night, that will be a great time to do so. The conditions will start to become more clear Saturday morning. As you can see, nothing showing up in terms of potential clouds. We get into Saturday afternoon, only a couple of clouds streaming on in, but this will not bring any precipitation, any rain at all. Saturday will be a completely dry day, just adding more towards the gorgeous weather. We get into Saturday night, and still beautiful stuff. So once again, just like Friday night, if you have any date plans, any outdoor plans in the afternoon or in the evening, you go ahead and do them because, like I said, the weather will be absolutely beautiful. We get into Sunday morning, still sticking with the clear skies, right around 10 to 11, especially when it's time to go out and go to church and spend time with your family. The weather should be mostly clear. We'll start to get more clouds right around midday. So Sunday afternoon should be generally partly cloudy. We do have a 10% chance of rain, especially around the 4 to 5 o'clock hour, as we have a frontal boundary coming from North Georgia. It wants to head southward, but because of the low humidity that I mentioned earlier, it will break apart that boundary. So it's only going to give us just a couple of sprinkles in our area. So Sunday is going to be a mainly dry day, and the mainly dry conditions will also carry on into the start of the work week. So as you can see, Monday morning around 6 o'clock, when a lot of people are waking up to go to work, not dealing with any clouds out there, just clear conditions, just like the weather that we'll experience tomorrow on Saturday. Here's a look at the long-range future view. So the mainly dry weather will continue. So for Tuesday, we have no blips. We don't even have any clouds for Tuesday. That means that we have no rain chances for that day. Wednesday, same thing. Nothing showing up. Dry weather ahead. Then for the second half of the work week, that's when the pattern will start to flip, and we'll start to get into a pattern where we are unfortunately familiar with, which means generally decent to potentially high rain chances. We have the Euro showing a blue blob over our area, indicating that rain is possible for Thursday and for Friday, but there's still some model uncertainty because the green, the GFS, it doesn't show anything for those times. So still a little bit of uncertainty for Thursday and for next Friday. However, it looks like we'll have some rain chances for the end of the work week. Now, I just want to show you this outlook. This is the day 2 outlook. This is for Saturday. Notice here, absolutely nothing. No green, no yellow, no orange. We don't have a severe weather risk for tomorrow or for Saturday. Same thing. So we've been having a severe weather risk all throughout the past couple of days and throughout the past week. Well, the severe weather chances are finally over, as we once again will get clear, calm weather for this upcoming weekend. The afternoon highs are going to be below average. We're going to see temperatures around the mid-80s for later this afternoon, so for Friday. But then for Saturday, 84 degrees, so below average there, 85 degrees. This is right around 4 to 5 degrees below average for this time of year. Temperatures will start to ramp up a little bit for Monday, and then we'll get back to the upper 80s for Tuesday. Here are the morning lows. We'll start to get into the 60s earlier this morning, but tomorrow we'll cool down to the upper 50s, and then we'll get to 59 degrees for Sunday, getting back into the lower 60s for Monday, and then 62 degrees for Tuesday. So generally cooler than average, but not as cool as what we experienced earlier in the springtime months, so March or April, where temperatures were getting into the upper 40s, or nothing even close to what we experienced in January, where we had below freezing temperatures consistently in the mornings. Here's a look at the humidity. One of the best things for this weekend, humidity dropping. So starting tomorrow, we'll see dew point values into the upper 50s. So what does upper 50s mean? It means comfortable conditions for tomorrow, and this will continue for Sunday. So I mentioned not influencing our feels like temperatures, because humidity is one of the things that just elevates the heat. You can have temperatures into the lower 90s, but it could be a dry heat and it could be bearable. But once you have that humidity, everything feels like it's intense. The air just is really felt all throughout your skin. You could really feel that swampy conditions. Well, that's not going to be the case at all for this upcoming weekend. Humidity will then pick up a little bit for Monday. So for the start of the work week, we'll get dew point values into the lower 60s. And then by Wednesday, back to comfortable. And then by the end of the work week, you saw that those rain chances were there for Thursday and for Friday. Well, part of the reasons why they're there is because the humidity starts to increase. And with humidity, that gives more of a chance for rain in general. Here's a look at the feels like temperatures. So next 2 days, humidity is going to be awesome. So the feels like temperatures are not going to be influenced. So we're going to see potentially upper 60s for later tonight for this Friday night. 70 degrees in Dublin for feels like temperatures. Just a great night overall. Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, 59 degrees in terms of feels like temperatures. Feeling like 60 degrees in Dublin and 60 degrees towards our southern counties such as Crisp and Wilcox County. Tomorrow afternoon, getting into the lower 80s with that nice, comfortable, low humidity. So once again, any outdoor plans, you won't be facing that unbearable heat, just like what we've been experiencing for the past couple of weeks in this warm May. We get into Sunday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, lower 60s possible in terms of feels like temperatures, 64 degrees in Dublin. Then for Sunday afternoon, same thing as compared to Saturday, lower 80s, and potentially 78 degrees in Dublin for Sunday afternoon. Part of the reason why the temperatures are a little lower is because Sunday will generally be a little bit more cloudy than Saturday, so that's going to limit the temperatures overall. We get into Monday morning and then starting off the work week into the lower 60s, 63 degrees in Macon and 64 degrees in Dublin. So temperatures are going to be below average for the near future, so the next couple of days. But for next week, so from June 6th to June 12th, the temperature outlook shows that we'll be above average in terms of temperature. So that could potentially bring the 90s back in towards our forecast, making the weather a little bit warmer and maybe a little bit more uncomfortable. But once again, meteorological summer starts on Sunday. So with these temperatures being a little bit more above average, the temperatures will then reflect summer-like conditions as we get into June. In terms of the precipitation outlook, so from June 6th to June 12th will also be above average. So the next couple of days will be mainly dry, but once we get into the later portions of next week, we could start to see those rain chances return back to the 7-day forecast consistently. The only thing that we're hoping for is the lack of the storm chances. Just like this past week where we've been receiving multiple severe weather outlooks, we're hoping that it's going to be mainly pop-up stuff and not pure widespread severe weather chances like what we've been dealing with for the past couple of days. So in recap of the month of May, it ends in the next couple of days. June 1st is on Sunday, and it's been a rainy one so far. So the total amount of rain, and this is before the storms on Friday afternoon, but before the storms on Friday afternoon, we'll see 6.08 inches of rain, which is almost 3.5 inches more than our average May rainfall total. But it's nothing close to the record, which is 11.77 inches of rain, and that was set in 1957. And we started off the month with a drought. Well, after the above average rain that we've been receiving, no one in central Georgia are within a drought at all. So that's really good news, because once we get into the summer months, we'll start to be really hoping for the rain to fall in. I remember last summer, we didn't see any rain for weeks on end. And we're really hoping for those rain chances in the months of June and July. Well, thankfully, we'll start off those summer months in a really good note, as we're not in a drought at all. So here's the recap of the weekend outlook. So for Friday, the storms moving into the afternoon, leaving into the evening. That's why we have a 90% chance of rain. But Friday night should be absolutely beautiful. We get into Saturday, the best day out of the weekend, mostly sunny conditions, and the temperatures will fall below average. We'll see temperatures around the mid 80s and potentially upper 50s to start off your morning. Clouds will become more prevalent for the start of June, so for Sunday, and we only have a 10% chance of rain. This just covers the basis for potential sprinkles or isolated showers into the afternoon. Here's a look at the Macon Bacon forecast. Tomorrow, one of the best days out of the weekend, probably one of the best days out of the month in general, a great way to end May. So Macon Bacon has their home opener tomorrow starting at 7 against the Florence Flamingos, and this will start off the 27 home game series all throughout the summer. So if you missed out on the Macon Bacon game tomorrow, because I was told it was completely sold out, we'll have 27 more games to go to. But if you have a ticket, if you're planning to go, well, you're dealing with beautiful conditions, low humidity, temperatures around 85 degrees just 2 hours before the first pitch. Then around 7 o'clock, first pitch itself, pleasant weather, temperatures dropping to the lower 80s. 10 o'clock, when the game ends, you'll be having fireworks to start off an amazing season, and you'll have mostly clear weather, so the clouds will not hinder your view at all of the fireworks. So it should be a magical night for everyone going out to support the Macon Bacon tomorrow. Here's a look at the Georgia baseball forecast. So for today, they may be dealing with the storm, so we could be seeing some potential delays for the Georgia baseball team for Friday. Tomorrow, for Saturday, absolutely gorgeous weather. They won't be dealing with any rain delays or anything. The games should go on as planned. Temperatures will be into the lower 80s, 83 degrees. Sunday, rain later. So they have a higher rain chance in Athens as they'll have that front moving on in. It's supposed to break apart and we'll be left with isolated showers here in central Georgia. But since Athens is a little bit towards our north, it could hold together a little bit more than here in central Georgia. So that's why they could see some increased rain chances for their game. Temperatures will be into the mid 80s once again. And the grill forecast. So Friday, not the best day in terms of any afternoon or evening grill plans. At night, if you want to go out on a grill in the middle of the night, go ahead and do so. You'll have great conditions for that. But for Saturday and for Sunday, fire it up. Go ahead and grill your favorite brisket or your favorite burgers or hot dogs. Any cookouts out there, hopefully it's a great one. Hopefully I'm invited. I would love to try out all the great food that you'll have because the weather will be absolutely perfect for any grills out there. Just to start off the meteorological summer, so to start off June in general, could have a great time there at any outdoor parks or in your lawns or in your backyard. Here's a look at the pool forecast, the most important forecast out there. And once again, if you're going out to the pool tomorrow, you got a great time. You have temperatures into the mid 80s. And once again, I've been saying this so many times, low humidity. And then for Sunday, the conditions for the pool may be a little less favorable, but when I mean that, I still want you to go out to the pools, but you may experience just a couple sprinkles or isolated showers and a little bit more clouds. So if you're planning to go to the pool only once throughout the weekend, the best day to do so will be for Saturday. Now, here is a look at the recommended attire. So for Friday afternoon, when you have the storms moving on in, I recommend you stay inside and watch out for any of those warnings. But for the rest of the weekend, go ahead and have your favorite t-shirt, your sunglasses, shorts. You can wear some jeans. It'll be cool enough to wear the jeans. But also, it'll be important to wear sunscreen. It'll be mostly clear, so the sun will be out, and you'll be out there. You could potentially get sunburns, and to stay hydrated. Even though the temperatures are below average, still warm enough for you to sweat. So I still recommend you to stay hydrated, have water, and to refill any water bottles that you carry with you frequently. And in terms of the tropics, we start off hurricane season on June, so on Sunday, but we actually have our first named storm already just a couple of days before the start of hurricane season. We have Tropical Storm Alvin. Now this is into the Pacific. This is off the western coast of Mexico, and it should weaken back into a traditional low pressure system on Saturday with winds expected to be around 35 miles per hour. And since this is in the Pacific, this has no impact at all for central Georgia. But a lot of people are asking, why are we seeing a named storm before hurricane season? Shouldn't the named storms happen after hurricane season? Well, it's actually fairly normal to see a storm develop, so a tropical storm or a tropical depression happen in the month of May. And this is because of the Central American gyre. So this is an area of low pressure off of Central America. And within this area of low pressure, you have isolated storms starting to develop, and then the storms will start to organize with the other storms that develop, and it creates its own low pressure system on the edge of the general area of low pressure in Central America. So this will be favorable for these storms to develop and to strengthen into a tropical depression or a tropical storm, either into the Pacific, in the Caribbean, or in the southern Gulf. So that's why we have a named storm this early in the year. And notice here, this low pressure system that I'm pointing at is the general area where we have Tropical Storm Alvin that has formed in the Pacific. So with hurricane season on the horizon starting on Sunday, here are the outlooks by NOAA and the Colorado State University researchers. Colorado State is indicating or forecasting an above average season. They're forecasting 17 tropical storms. This is 3 more than the average, which is 14. And they're predicting 9 hurricanes, which is above average, rather than 7 hurricanes, which is generally the average that we see, and 4 major hurricanes. NOAA, they're predicting 13 to 19 tropical storms. And NOAA has their predictions through ranges. It's not as specific as Colorado State. So 13 to 19 is the tropical storms forecasted by NOAA. 6 to 10 is the hurricanes forecasted by NOAA, and 3 to 5 are the major hurricanes forecasted. So this is above average as compared to what we see generally throughout a normal hurricane season. However, here's something to note. This is not as aggressive as the forecast from last year. And last year, we know hurricane season was a very robust one. We had Helene, we had Beryl, and we had Milton. All three were retired. So even with the above average forecasts, it's still not indicating that it will be as active as last season. So just a sliver of positivity after an active forecasted hurricane season. So here's the in-depth details of the NOAA outlook. They're predicting a 60% chance of an above average normal season, 30% chance of a near normal season, and a 10% chance of a below normal season. So in terms of the frequency of hurricanes and tropical storms, we already have a named storm already for the month of June, before the start of hurricane season. But right around August and September, that's when we should reach our peak hurricane activity. So September 10th is actually when we will experience most of our hurricane activity. And this is right around average. This correlates very well to what we had last year. So actually a couple weeks after the peak season, we had Hurricane Helene arrive through central Georgia. And then the activity starts to subside once we get into October. You can still have some powerful storms in October, such as Milton. But once we get into the later portions of October and November, the activity will start to wane, and we'll just be left with tropical depressions and tropical storms as the sea surface temperatures start to cool down, limiting the potential influence for more hurricanes developing in the Gulf or into the Pacific. So that is your weekend forecast and the extended forecast here from 13 WMAZ.